kia ora koutou showy ovarians. Oh my god, no, do not die of shock. It is two podcasts quite close together. I actually recorded this interview ages ago in August, but have finally kicked my A into G and edited it for you. Now, you're also probably all on the edge of your seats as to my HRT journey. Well, I'm afraid penny patch start is now penny patch stop. I will try again, but after 1 week of feeling fine, I had a whole week of feeling not fine at all. My epilepsy meds, lamotrigine, are known to interact badly. Indeed, it did. I didn't have a seizure, thank fuck, but it just felt really weird. And as I have many people to entertain in many gigs this week, I released the patch from its bondage on my belly on Friday. I probably will try again when I have less on and try and balance it all out, because it was really frustrating because my hip pain, leg pain and itching and a little bit of the vulvodynia seemed to die down. Or was it all in my swirling head of hormones? Who knows, but I felt like shit. So time will tell. But this is a timely podcast with Amanda because we discussed her adult onset epilepsy along with her body, which was potentially caused by something that I had never heard of as a cause for epilepsy before. So stay tuned for some hilarious epilepsy jokes. We're allowed to do that because we are epileptics. Some superhero dog intrusions and much discussion of Amanda's spectacular pussy. Intrigued? Cue the music. Oh, and yeah, this one's quite filthy. Prepare. Everyone, kia ora koutou, haere mai, and welcome along to another peripatetic, poetic, and definitely chic episode of Showy Ovaries. That is a quote from a showy show called A Chorus Line. And just like them, today we have one singular sensation. Every little step she takes, one thrilling combination with the words and jokes that she makes. But I am getting ahead of myself. Yes, I am a Broadway superstar, Penny Ashton, and in this season 3 of Showy Ovaries, I am pivoting away from solely focusing on menopause and talking to an array of singular sensations, which is not an oxymoron, all about their fleshy bone bags that get them through life. Today, on this magical mystery tour, I'm coming to you from West Auckland, where I am in the house of one of New Zealand's newest opera librettists. That means writing of the words. She's an award-nominated comedian, a trained primary school teacher.
Award-winning.
Oh, sorry. I should have... Totally leaving
Multi-award winning.
And I was supposed to say award-winning. I don't know. I'm jealous, obviously. A fluent speaker of Japanese, a proud homeowner, a lover of dogs, and self-described feminazi bitch. It's Amanda Kennedy. Hello.
Yay! Hello.
Hello. I love that.
Thank you for walking into my Keith Hay home. Not everyone does. My Keith Hay home.
Your Keith Hay home.
Yeah.
Why would they not?
Some people ask me to meet them up the driveway because it's a bad home.
Why is it a bad home? I've been here a number of times. I've never felt bad.
Well,
anyway, I'm saying don't diminish your fucking achievement for owning a home in the Auckland market, you silly feminazi bitch. All right?
I can do what I fucking want, Penny. I can do what I fucking want.
Anyway, and that is, and what's your dog's name?
Annie Grace.
Annie Grace.
She's really upset because there's someone here.
Right.
She's a
jealous lady.
She did not give permission.
Oh, I see. And you do not want to get on the wrong side of Annie Grace.
No.
She recently bit the face off somebody who was attacking you.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about that?
She's a good dog. Yeah. She was wearing like her little jacket because it's cold and it's winter. And she's white, so you would assume that people would see her, but she was sniffing in a bush, so I assumed that the guy didn't see her. And he sort of like pushed me over and kind of jumped on my back, and she bit him on the face, and off he fucked. And it was great.
Yeah, I mean, that is amazing. I mean, I'm not a dog person, but that story just made me go, maybe I should get a dog. Because it's just like, that is wonderful loyalty. Yeah. You know, that your baby daughter just went, get the fuck off her.
My hairy little girl.
Yeah, seriously. That is amazing. Anyway. And how are you doing?
Good. Ish.
Good-ish.
Yeah.
We're going to get to some of that shit,
I'm in the realm of good, yeah.
You're in the realm of good?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Hooray. Okay, cool. Okay, well, I've got my longer introduction for you that I shall do now. And it goes. Amanda Kennedy was born in West Auckland in 1981. After doing a bit of back and forth with Christchurch and Japan, she came back to West Auckland, as she describes it, against her will, as it was the only place she could afford. We are in the same... I also live in West Auckland because it was the house that we could afford.
And you're from Christchurch, right?
And I'm from Christchurch. Look at that. No Japan involved at all. Amanda is a comedian, including as one half of the recently retired comedy duo Fan Brigade, and highlights of her successful comedy career with Livy Reihana in the ukulele playing, singing feminazi shenanigans of the Fan Brigade include 3 comedy galas featuring on the Funny As documentary, and being commissioned to write the Unruly tourist opera by New Zealand Opera, causing numerous members of the board to resign in outrage. Who knew you had such powers? Amanda loves her doggy, her garden, languages, being fluent in many and learning many more. She was an English communications advisor and teacher in a small town in Japan, a primary school teacher in Aotearoa, a fire protection bid writer, freelance proofreader, and now works in the construction consultant industry. And of course, we are sisters in epilepsy, which she got in a pretty fucking crazy way, which we are going to hear all about. But one more time, please welcome the most unruly of podcasts. Yes.
Thank you. It's me. It's me.
So, and I have to say, The Unruly Tourist is the only opera ticket I have ever bought in my life. I've only seen a few. I do not genuinely love opera. I've only seen a couple of other ones, but I fucking loved it. It was so great.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Nice.
It was innovative. It was different. I think, what was the man who used to run the opera? He's gone now.
Thomas de Burgess.
Yeah.
He is a living legend, and he was brought in to change the culture, widen the audience, bring more people into opera, and he did exactly that, and people resigned about it.
Yeah,
So
I know. And
he did his job. He's such a forward-thinking, collaborative, inspirational person who just wants to do everything as innovatively as he can. And it was such a shame to see New Zealand sort of chase him out like they did the
because
Unruly
he's gone
tourists.
to like Sweden or something.
He's in Finland.
In Finland.
Yeah.
Sorry, they're not all the same country, obviously.
Scandinavia. The country of Scandinavia.
The country of Scandinavia. What got me about this too is there's all the opera patrons who obviously think, and this isn't all of them, obviously some came and did enjoy it, and generalisms are bad, but
most, I think,
yeah,
did
great.
come, and we're very happy.
But it's just the fact that people think that every single item in a season should appeal to them. Do you know? It's like subjectivity is the spice of life. You can have the most traditional opera 1 minute, and then you can have your show in the same season, and nothing is going to explode or break down. It's just appealing to different demographics, and that's good.
The funny thing is that nobody held a gun against anyone's heads, because we don't really have that many guns here.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. And no one held a gun to an opera fan's head and went, I can't believe you have to go and see this by law.
Exactly.
And not enjoy it. So the people that did, there were some people that we heard did go and grudgingly were like, well, it wasn't that bad. Oh. But the rest of the people, really had a good time, really enjoyed it. That was the ultimate aim. It's entertainment.
Yeah, and it was. But it
politics.
also had things to say. It had things to say about the mentality he found in New Zealand. I love all of the people, if you don't know, all of the opera stars played New Zealand or Kiwis, and they had these Kiwi beaks. And when I first saw the pictures, I was like, what is those costumes? And then I saw it that they were Kiwi beaks, and I was like, that's hilarious.
That made sense.
Yeah.
We had Tracy Grant Lord, and all credit to her for that.
Yeah.
It was a good decision. We were unsure about it, but she did really good.
Yeah. And I just thought it was hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious, and it had things to say, and it's an entertainment. It's an evening of entertainment.
Yeah. Don't go if you don't like it.
Yeah, and it's sold out mostly?
I think the whole run pretty much sold out. Yeah.
So that must feel nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Did you stop at the time and go, I fucking did that?
Kind of. We didn't really have time.
Right.
It was just a very hectic time, and, we wrote it during lockdowns and COVID and stuff. I think it's probably the first opera that's been written over Zoom. Ever. Because Luke, our composer Luke De Silva, who is a genius, and our dramaturg Riley Spadero, they were living in Sydney and Melbourne respectively, and the whole thing, we didn't even meet each other for 9 months or something while trying to write this thing.
It's such a crazy idea too, and he saw you do comedy, and when
he saw our RSA video on the Funny As documentary.
Right.
Yeah, and he was like, that little tiny music comedy video is an opera. in 3 minutes so they can write an opera. And we're like, are you sure?
Yeah, it must have been like, what was that conversation, that initial conversation like?
Well, he emailed us and we're like, oh, okay. Oh, the director of NZ Opera. Oh, and then
Did you like our urinal video?
Yeah, we Googled exactly. And we Googled him. We're like, oh, no, it is him.
It's actually him. I know, you'd be like, this is a scam. Are you from Nigeria? Are
Pretty
you
much.
a prince?
Pretty much.
Yeah, wow.
But
So cool.
obviously we said yes straight away. And, yeah, it was really, really, really cool. He knew the exact team to put together. Like, he was like, you guys will work well with Luke. Sorry.
That's all right. Does it have any life left?
Who knows? He's gone.
Yeah.
And he was the project's biggest proponent. So, and, you know, there was some controversy. So, and there's some resistance to, like, new work that is already scandalous. So, I don't know. I would love it to do more runs because people, like, have been begging for it to come to Wellington and Christchurch.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just fun and nice. It's about us and it's just funny.
Okay, but anyway, to the matter at hand, which is your body. Oh, I have some jokes for you first, though.
About my body? Cool, Penny.
What do you call an epileptic wrapped in lettuce? A seizure salad.
Ah!
I'm very proud of that one. What do you do if an epileptic has a fit in the bath? It's throw in your washing. You pull out the plug for a spin dry. See, I'm allowed to make these jokes.
When I first got epilepsy, I did like 1 or 2 solo sets at open mics where I was like, so the best thing about having epilepsy is you don't need to get a vibrator. You are one.
Just use your finger and like, it's just a shame that you're completely unconscious.
Just look at some flickering lights and off you go, babe. Off you go. It's all yours.
How did they react? Did they react all right?
No, they didn't like it. It was like awkward silence. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm allowed.
Yeah.
I am allowed. I know
Yeah.
it's different. Because like the word fit, for example, I don't care, but some people do not like it. And I sort of train myself to say seizure.
Oh, my mum keeps telling her friends that I've had a fit.
Right. And you don't like it?
I'm just kind of like,
I mean, it sounds a bit archaic, doesn't it?
yeah, it's very old. She's had a fit.
A fit. Yeah. 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 I mean,
and she was here the first time I had one, but she is from, like initially she had a healthcare background. She was an occupational therapist working in mental health. She saw like a bunch of people with epilepsy who were there for not epilepsal reasons.
epilepsal.
Is that a word?
Sounds like clipsal.
Epilepsial?
Which is the
Epilepsial?
car race in Australia.
Yeah.
The epilepsal.
Yeah.
Let's just say yes.
So it didn't bother her. And, you know, I woke up in that doorway right there and was like, why am I lying on the floor? And Mum's like, you've had a fit.
That must have just been like, I know. Well, okay, we're jumping ahead of ourselves. So we'll start at the very beginning. So tell us about the journey that you've had with your body through your life, and then we'll get to the epilepsy stage, and then from there.
Okay, let's do that. I read a letter from my mum recently to my dad in a box of letters that my dad gave me because he's downsizing the stuff that he owns. And so I like kind of went through, like kind of curious, and then I found a letter from mum to dad going, Amanda has a pot belly and little stamina, which concerns me.
How old would you have been at the time?
3.
Oh my God.
Oh no, I was 4.
4, right.
And yet I was like mildly athletic.
Right.
Like I was just... Wait till the dogs finish making noise. My friend recently, an old school friend, made detective in the police, and it reminded me that she beat me at the 100-metre sprints, and I was so fucking mad about it because it was the one thing I was good at, and she stole that from me. Everything else I was shit at because it turns out I also have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So every time I thought I just hurt my shoulder or hurt my hip or hurt my knee, I was dislocating everything.
Yeah, so what is that syndrome, sorry?
Ehlers-Danlos.
And what is that?
It's a disorder of the joints and the skin. So I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, so it means that I dislocate things easily. Things are way more flexible than they should be. Like when I had an appointment with the neurologist recently, he was testing my adductor reflexes, like right up in your sort of inner groin and how much muscle strength you have in there. And he dislocated both of my hips at once, just pushing down on my legs. Yeah. And I was like, oh, hang on, you've dislocated. And he's like, what? And I'm just like, clunk, clunk. Here we go. try again. Like,
oh my God. Because people not realize that the constant testing of your reflexes that happens when you've had it. Like, honest, I remember that when I was 16. It was just this little rubber hammer constantly. And then things that go boink that you have no idea that they will, if they touch you there, your arm does this.
Yeah.
I found that all quite fascinating.
Yeah.
But right, okay, so he was a bit confronted by your hyperflexibility.
And I've had like some major reconstruction surgery. Like I had my shoulder rebuilt from dislocating it 19 times that I like logged.
Far out.
But a bunch in other situations like surfing, I'd go over a wave and like try and push my surfboard down. And it would just like clock out, and I'd be under holding onto the surfboard with one hand and trying to like get myself into a position where I could like pull my arm back into its socket and stuff. And I didn't realize that wasn't that normal.
Holy shit! And then what? Then would the pain just go away? You know what I mean? Like, was
feel
that not painful?
weak and shaky for a little bit, but not like sore.
Wow!
Just because everything's
did you nearly
loose,
die sometimes there?
That was scary. I don't surf anymore.
Yeah,
they did say don't surf. You will continue to nearly die if you surf. So don't surf
with that syndrome.
Yeah, just with dislocation. So that was before I developed epilepsy or anything.
Yeah.
But going back to like my body, I've had a good enough relationship with my body. I had all the same stuff that people had in the sort of late 80s, early 90s with their mum going, I really need to lose 10 pounds. And you're like, we use the metric system, bitch.
Yeah, this is your mother saying she needed to.
Yeah, and bless her heart, she'd be like, so I'm going to give you girls $20, and if I haven't lost 2 pounds by the end of the week, you get to have it.
Oh my God.
And we're like, why? You look fine. Like,
wow, and there's some sort of weird emotional fucked up, like, I don't know. Like,
she's a really good person.
Yeah.
Lovely. It was just quite weird because I didn't understand that she was not a lovely looking person.
Yeah, because she looked it to you.
Yeah. She was my gorgeous mum with like glossy hair and beautiful brown eyes and the most wonderful smile, and she was the most loving thing, and she was so upset about her weight as a woman of her age in that time and like to the point where she'd involve us in that, and they gave her appetite suppressant pills which gave her a heart murmur.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I know, it's like literally dying to be thin, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just so
weird.
And all the shit we got in the media at that time as well, with that whole Britney Spears, you know, like just all that was all that slut-shaming stuff as well. So bound up in how they looked and tiny little skirts and all that sort of nonsense.
And like having dogs, you're always active, you know, we've always had dogs, we've always walked the dogs, whatever. But when my stepdad came, he was like, right, sports, we're going to get you into sports. So I did hockey and, you know, a bit of soccer and some indoor netball and stuff. And
did you osmose that what your mother was feeling about herself to yourself?
No, she didn't understand it, and I didn't understand her.
Right. But
so
you
I was
didn't
just
feel that you weight yourself?
No, not so much.
That's great.
Yeah. Like I found it weird because I saw her, like she took us tramping and hiking. She was very physically able. We did gardening, walked the dogs all the time. I was just like, this is weird, but okay, I'll take the $20.
Yeah.
You know. And then moving on from that, she didn't understand the importance of sports to me. And so when they would go on holiday, my nan would look after us and she'd just be like, I don't see why you need to go to hockey. So no, I'm not going to take you.
Oh.
Yeah. But then after that, my mum got really into me doing ice hockey and field hockey. I don't know, she got me into my first social netball group. Like it's cool, but I injured myself constantly. So that was quite hard because I always had this feeling of trepidation, like what am I going to break?
So that's the shit. When you get older, that's supposed to happen. But when you're young, you're just supposed to fix yourself.
Yeah. You're not expected to be that like dysfunctional.
So when did you get diagnosed?
With Ehlers-Danlos 1.5 years ago.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
So way before, like I can remember, like to the end of time, I can remember pulling my hips back into place, pulling my shoulders back into place.
Did you ever talk to anybody about it and then them like going, that's really not normal?
I just figured everyone was the same.
Wow. Okay.
Everyone was doing the same thing. Like sometimes your shoulder pops out and you just go, ow, clunk.
Whack it back in again.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So how was puberty and all of that?
Fine. I was like a late starter, I guess, like 13, nearly 14 when I got my period. And it was immediately fucking hell.
Oh.
I probably had like 2 years of light bleeding. And then my body just went like, fuck, I'm the Hoover Dam. And we're letting it all go every single time. Like I was telling you before, like I would bleed through a super tampon, a maxi pad, 3 layers of clothing onto an office chair and drive home on a plastic bag because I would just flood so much and so heavily. Like, I can't count the number of times that someone's come up to me in public and gone, like, you have blood dripping down your legs.
Oh, wow.
Here, have my jacket. Like, I have so many women's jackets.
That's very delightful of women.
I know,
it is.
It is a nice thing on the, like riding on the back of a really horrible thing.
Yeah.
Women are good to each other like that. Like, lots of people are good to each other like that. It's nice, but also, fuck that. So, about 8 years ago, I got my first merino because I had to wash my sheets 3 times in one night. And I was just like, I can't keep doing that.
No. Wow. Imagine what they used to do, like, 200 years ago. This is what always gets me. And you think about the millennia of women that have gone before and, without any female physicians to say, actually, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Or, we can actually do something about that and not caring. That sort of stuff is just mind-boggling to me. And I do find it interesting. It's always been so imbued with shame. Obviously, this is changing, thank Christ. But as soon as you just scratch the surface of talking about periods and stuff, then women are always so keen to talk about it. But it doesn't come up very, I think that's changed definitely now or changing. And I think it will definitely change as the people that are teenagers now and stuff will get older.
Yeah, I think stuff like TikTok has contributed to that for the young people, especially.
And like free
there's no
tampons
secrets
in school.
Yeah.
And, just having it so open and out there that, you go to to get them from the bathroom or where have you.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Instead of hiding it in your jersey, like I used to do.
When I was a teacher, I can't remember what I called them, but it was kind of along the lines of wellbeing boxes. It was good life boxes or something. And they could take deodorant, they could take tampons and pads. They could even take condoms because kids in year 5 and year 6 are fucking.
Wow.
They are fucking.
So it's 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds?
Yep. They, even if they just want to play with the condoms and see how they work and that sort of thing, like, great.
Yeah. I know, it's like it's like you're not going to, if they're going to do it with you or without you, so they may as well know what a condom looks like and works like.
Like, you do the food, you do the clothes, you're always feeding your kids and stuff at schools, but also parents would not buy them tampons or pads because it was like shameful to talk about. I never had that. Like, my mum was so good
mine
about that
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like, when I first got my period, like, I told her a few months before, Mum, when I get my period, I don't want you to talk to me about it and be like, this is a big thing, let's go for dinner. I just want to, like, move on past it, and so don't say anything, okay? And she was like, well, that's a bit stink for me, but okay. And I was like, thank you, cool. And then she was good about it. She was like, okay, well, here's a hand mirror, go and have a look.
A hand mirror?
Go and have a look.
Oh, I don't think I ever did that.
And she's like, go and have a look at your fanny and see what it's all about and find the different spots and see where you have to stick the tampon in because pads are not good for anyone. Pads are horrible.
I agree.
I'm like, thank you, Mum.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that to me from 13 years old because fuck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I never used pads ever. I was like, it was like, oh, try that. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah.
The wedge of wet nonsense in your pants.
And she's like, and if you have a longer hymen than you think you should have, then put a little bit of Vaseline just on the tip. And I was like, wow, Mum, thank you.
I don't have a clue how long my hymen was.
Neither.
Yeah.
But that was good advice and cool. Like, I worked in a sex shop later and I'm kind of like, maybe don't put Vaseline in your fanny. But she was doing good for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
Dog
good.
is having a right old sniff of my fanny.
Don't sniff my friend's fanny. What have I said? What have I said? You're Annie Wanny, not Annie Fanny.
Right, okay. So then and when you were in Japan, because Japan's got quite different attitudes to bodies and things and sex and various things. So what was that like?
Like, you don't have your shoulders out. Like, that's really risque.
You don't have your shoulders out?
No.
Wow.
Like, you can't wear any singlet with, like, spaghetti straps or anything that shows your shoulders. You basically are covered to halfway down your upper arm. But then you go to an onsen with your co-workers and you're like, let's all get naked.
Right.
Like, it's quite a contrast, but I guess it's different because the shoulders thing is like, that's the sexiest part of the body historically in Japan, is like your back, neck, shoulders.
Okay.
And so you kind of cover that up. But when you're with your female colleagues in an onsen, they're not horny for your back and shoulders.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And no one cares.
Yeah, I'm not one for, like, I've had a few podcast guests that get naked in groups and I just don't want to.
I guess I found it familiar because I had a good group of friends in my early 20s who were women and we would all get changed in front of each other, and it was almost like in defiance of all the men who sexualized us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at us all getting naked together, like getting changed, putting our togs on, whatever, and none of us are assaulting each other. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though some of us are bisexual, pansexual, whatever, we are not looking at naked women around us. I don't know. I saw something on Blue Skies a few days ago, which was like, it doesn't matter what you do with your body, men will still abuse you. You can be scantily clad, you can be naked, you can wear a burqa, you can be a baby. Like, it doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I found the acceptance of the body in Japan quite freeing almost. Like, they were just like, well, everyone has a body. Why would you be weird about it?
So what is an onsen?
Oh, sorry, like a public bath where you're full nude
Oh, okay.
and no one cares because you shower and wash before you get in.
So it's just like a mineral bath.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I never used to like saunas and stuff, and then I went to this incredible one in Winnipeg, which you don't imagine is a place. Winnipeg.
Why have you been to Winnipeg?
I've been to Winnipeg loads. I've been to Winnipeg 9 times because they have a very good Fringe festival.
Right, okay.
And they're delightful people. And they have this incredible spa. Anyway, it's called Thermea, and it's like beautiful Scandinavian style spa. I highly recommend. It's also in Ottawa, if you don't feel like going to Winnipeg, which is in the middle of nowhere. But it does have a very good Fringe festival. But anyway, back to you and your corporal self. So and how do you feel now that you're 40? Has that changed the way you feel about your body and things? Or do you care about aging? Because I don't.
No, fuck no.
Good.
I would never go back to 20 or 30. I fucking love being 40.
Unless I could have this head. You know, knowing what I know.
Well, that's what they say. Like, the youth is wasted on the young, right?
Oscar Wilde was onto that.
Completely right. It's completely true.
It's so
but I would never go back. I do not mind being older. I like being older. I like having a mind that is more coherent than when I was younger. I like having more confidence. I cannot be intimidated.
Yeah.
I really fucking like that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that about you. I must have known you for 10 years. When did you start doing comedy?
2014, so just about 10 years,
Jesus Christ. Anyway, you know, I've never felt that you were somebody that would be easily intimidated. You know, especially because you got a lot of hate thrown at you online for being feminazi bitches and stuff.
Yeah. I just don't see being a human and having a human body as a thing that you should be embarrassed by. Like, so what if I have a pot belly? Like, what's it got to do with anyone else? Any fucking thing else? My job, comedy, like having a dog, like buying a house, whatever. What the fuck does having like a slightly protruding belly have to do with anything? Which is the thing that most people bring up. Like, there's this woman at my work who asks me about every 6 months how far along I am, and I'm like, I'm still not pregnant.
I don't know how you did. Oh my God, I'd rip her face off. Not because I felt like I was fat, but just because she's obviously bullying you at that point.
I think she's not.
Oh,
because
she's just stupid.
And going back to Japan, like, if you can see it, it's public property, so you can comment on it, and it's not like mean. And she's not Japanese, but I feel like from what some Chinese and Taiwanese friends have said, it's kind of a similar thing. Like, people always comment on your body, especially if they're older women, because it's right there to see. So it's not mean,
right? It's none of your business, though, is it? That's the thing.
But I've had so many women rub my belly and be like, "Oh, wow." I'm like, no, just fat and bloated. Like, nah.
I did. Somebody asked me once, and I was wearing overalls and I was face painting at the America's Cup Village in 2000, and just was like, I was so shocked, and I was, I'm not pregnant, and she just was not in the slightest bit contrite.
Yeah,
I was like, maybe you should just go, oh, I'm sorry, but she was like, oh, you know, and I was like, oh my God.
I've sort of gotten to a place where I let people get away with it the way that I did when I was teaching and the kids would say it.
Right.
Miss Kennedy, are you going to have a baby? I'm like, no. Just had 2-minute noodles for lunch.
Do you want to have a baby? Or did you want to have a baby?
No, never.
No, me neither.
I figured I would want to have one when I was growing up. I just sort of assumed. That's your job.
Yeah. You're a lady, you have the parts.
And then when I met my partner, and he was like, I don't want to have babies, so I'm telling you straight up right now, if that's something you really want, I don't want that, so I don't want to waste your time. And I'm like, I've actually never thought about whether I do want to or not. I've always assumed. And so I took those next few weeks to really think about it and go, I like children. I like people whatever age they are. Like, people are all fine. I don't want any babies.
Yeah, no. I wasn't sure at first, and then as it become more and more clear, I absolutely do not. So yeah, that's worked out. So now, anyway, so you have developed epilepsy from something that I don't think many people would have heard of. So let's talk about that. So how did that come to be?
Before we go to that, I want to say that I dated a guy when I was 21, and this is going to sound ableist as hell, but he had 1.5 legs. He'd been in a motorcycle crash. And I bitched to him about my body one time, and he sat there and listened to it all, like not even looking at me. I could just see him thinking and his mind taking over, and I kept talking and talking and talking because I was like, oh no, I can see he's thinking about what I'm saying. What do I do? I just keep talking. And then he was like, so while you have 2 legs that work, I would like you to not talk to me about how much you hate your body. Yeah. And I was like, not to make you a disabled martyr, but fuck, I've never let that go.
No, I think that's really good. You know, like that's, I mean, you know what I mean. Like I went to see the neurologist when I was trying to change my epilepsy pills, and I was sitting there thinking, I was crying because I was a bit fat and thinking that he's usually telling people in this office that they've got brain tumours. I saw somebody outside in a wheelchair without any legs. And I saw that person and was like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, you are fine. You are fine. Yeah. But, like, you know, but the thing is you can only, you know, particularly, well, epilepsy is different, which we'll get to. Because
like, I think of myself, even though I have epilepsy, I think of myself as not yet disabled. Like one day I'm going to lose more and more control of my body.
Why?
Oh, we all are.
With aging.
Because we all are.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't
think... You know, we're all going to end up, if we are lucky enough to live long enough and get to that stage, then we are all going to have mobility issues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's funny, I don't think myself disabled at all, even though I have 5 chronic conditions. But then it's like, but that sounds like you think that there's something stigmatizing about being disabled. Do you know what I mean? Like, then you really drill into all of that. But anyway, how did you get your epilepsy?
So it came out of nowhere.
At what age?
41. And several different, 3 different doctors in the ER in my 3 first seizures said that they'd seen an uptick in people who developed epilepsy after having COVID.
Yeah.
And before people go, was it the COVID or was it the vaccinations? It was a known side effect before the vaccination even got developed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it was just a thing.
The dog just opened the door.
She's good at that.
She's impressive. Right, okay, yeah.
And so who knows whether it's that or not.
I hope that nobody is listening to my podcast that immediately turns around and then says it's the vaccines. And if you are listening, you can fuck off because that's ridiculous.
Suck my ass. Suck my fat ass.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any seizures when I was younger, which is the main factor, as you all know, for having seizures when you're older. Like you can develop them back, and that's way more common than just developing it out of nowhere. But I suddenly... Like I had a really bad bout of COVID. Like I coughed for months. I was weak and bedridden for a while. I didn't go to hospital, but I had a temperature of like 40, 41 degrees.
Fuck! Why didn't you go to hospital? Because you go, oh, I'll be fine? Because that's what I was doing.
Much.
My mother made me go to hospital.
I called Healthline and they were like, take some paracetamol and see how you are in
calling
8 hours, you know.
Right, okay, cool.
And so I was like, oh, it's down to 38.9, so...
41 is pretty nuts, though.
It was pretty nuts, yeah. I was unwell.
Were you delirious?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was not well. But it only lasted a few days, but then after that, the cough lasted for so long. And I was just really weak and lethargic and stupid. Like I felt really stupid.
You felt stupid?
Really stupid. People would ask me things that I should know, and I'd just be like,
see, that's not stupid.
I'll come back to you.
That's your brain having smashed. I mean, like the absolute physics of it is that your brain has smashed around in your skull.
Yeah. And
it's affected your memory, not your stupidity.
Yeah.
I've been telling Amanda many things by a text message through this whole thing.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I had a seizure at home. My mum and my partner were helping me move some furniture. And I woke up, like I don't remember any of it, but I woke up. And I was just like, what am I doing on the ground? Mm-hmm. Why am I lying in the hallway? And my mum's like, you've had a fit. And my partner was like, so we're going to take you to bed. And I was like, okay, I'm really tired. And then they put me to bed. And then the weirdest thing is waking up later and knowing, because you can see outside and you can see the light, so much time has passed and you have had nothing to do with it.
And they didn't want to ring an ambulance?
They did.
Good, right.
But there was a big delay.
Yeah, right.
And so they came when they could, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then, went to hospital. They did the tests and things. There was a big delay for MRIs and CTs and stuff like that. Because
So there was a waiting list. Well, there was a long wait for all of the diagnostic tests.
Yeah.
And so they'd had quite a few people presenting with post-COVID epilepsy.
From what the ER docs told me.
So you don't have that as a
There was
definitive reason, but that's
No.
quite probably the reason.
Yeah. I would call it like anecdotal evidence from people on the front lines.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense, right, for this whole thing that people thinking that it is a respiratory illness, which it is, but it's also a vascular illness and that it affects the viscosity of the blood and things like that.
Neurological.
And that can cause issues with when the blood's going through the brain.
Yeah.
You know, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
And so then it took you quite a while to get control of it.
Yeah, a couple of months. I had 2 more really major seizure events, but quite a few smaller ones, which were somewhere between sort of tonic-clonic, which is the big ones where you're shaking and, you know, it's both sides and you're shaking and clenching and it's over within a minute or two. Somewhere between that and absent.
Mm-hmm.
So I had quite a few of those where I was maybe absent and one side of my body was going a bit funny.
Right,
like
but you're conscious
Aaron
for the
said
whole
I was sort
thing?
of going like that a couple of times and not answering him.
Were you conscious?
No.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. But not like full on what you think of seizures
Did you
as from
munch
the
your
movies.
tongue when you were having your...
Yeah.
My tongue was like... I showed it to my
Just
friend and she just
mache.
like screamed.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
I got the Difflam spray just to like anaesthetize my tongue.
I've been deeply fortunate. I've only had those 3 seizures. 1 when I was 16 and 2 when I was 19. So it was such a long time ago. But I remember... I wish I got pictures of the tongue because it was pretty crazy. But it also heals in about a day.
Yeah. My biggest health physical issues from the seizures were my very first one. I fell directly on my face and and like straight front down, like just immediately lost all control and fell straight down on the floor. So I broke my nose, my glasses and my knee.
Jesus.
All in the same one. After that, they were slower to come on, I think. So I had one at work.
So you get more an aura?
No. I have no
auras.
aura, no understanding of what any triggers are or anything like that. But apparently the one I had at work, I had no recollection whatsoever, but I just slid off my seat and lay on the ground and did my seizure there, and then they called an ambulance and then off I went.
Yeah. Do you have a St. John's membership now?
I do. Because I'm not stupid or rich. Yeah. You?
Yes, yeah. I do. But I've not this whole time. But yes, because you have to pay, it's like $100 for an ambulance if it's not ACC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that adds up pretty quickly.
It's only $48 for a membership or something like that.
Maybe
a bit more now.
Free.
I can't remember. No.
Well, for a membership, it's like, $100 for 2 of us.
Okay.
So, yes, that would make sense. Yeah. Absolutely. And then you get them free for the year. And then, so now, how have you just dealt with that? Because I know, like, my diary is just, when I'm 16, like, oh, my God, can't believe I'm epileptic. First, I'm fat. Second, not particularly attractive. And now this. And I remember just thinking that my world had ended. And,
Well, it was really the only bad thing in my life. Like, you know, everyone was in a bad place from COVID and lockdowns and stuff. But I don't know, weight-wise, I don't really care. Like, I don't think it's bad to be fat. My weight's gone up and down. I don't really care about that. I care how I look, but it's more like being clean and tidy than anything else. And I don't want to look older than I am, so I don't smoke. I don't know, I wear sunscreen every day.
You've got very beautiful skin.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Dewy skin. I do get a bit of Botox personally.
Me too.
All right. There you go. See?
A little bit here.
It's so funny, isn't it? It's like we that's it. We don't care about being older, but we want to present our best self in the process.
Well, I have a very strong ancestral history of cat's bum mouth, like smoker's mouth. And I don't want that because I've never smoked a cigarette in my life.
I think it's because I have these characters like Lady Rex, and she's very much like this, and she goes like this all the time, and I think that means
I don't want to look like Maggie Smith lives on my like
on your face.
On my face.
I wouldn't mind Maggie Smith living on my face.
She can live on my face, to be honest. But you know, like I'm only 40-something. I don't want this.
Yeah.
So
it's working. It's very dewy complexion.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You too.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
But yeah, so I never really worried about like, I don't know, I don't care how I look. I have a fat ass and big tits and my weight fluctuates. And
has the medication affected your weight and hungers and things like that?
I think COVID did, because I got very, very anxious during the lockdowns. Like I have already had an anxiety disorder for a long time, but I thought, God, it's worth going on anti-anxiety medication.
Right.
Because then I can say that I tried it if it doesn't work, and if it does work, fucking amazing, great. But it destroyed my bowels, and it destroyed my life.
What means that?
Citalopram first, and then something, it wasn't venlafaxine, but they switched me to another one. But I got like really bad tremors. I couldn't sleep. Like my whole body would be like shaking. I'd get up off the couch and fall like a newborn foal on the floor.
Wow. But with elegance.
Just awful. And I was getting like 1 to 2 hours of sleep a night, if that.
Drugs are crazy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Drugs
it just
crazy.
Was not for me.
Yeah.
And I know people that it's like saved their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like amitriptyline that I'm on for vulvodynia. It works
and me
for the most
sleep.
part, and you for sleep. But it definitely works for sleep. Like, and I almost don't want to be medicated to sleep, but that it works so well. And because it dries out my singing voice, I've come off it when I have shows. And when I was doing the tempestuous, I couldn't sleep. Something like 2 hours sleep, 3 hours sleep in a night. And I'm like, you know what, maybe there's nothing wrong with being medicated a little bit to sleep because, you know, and there's so much about sleep hygiene contributing to wellness, you know, like in dementia and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, but there's the range of side effects because we're both members of a group on Facebook that's the epilepsy group, the epilepsy awareness.
Oh, no, do you
and
see my
support.
post there?
All the time.
Oh,
love.
no.
She posts quite a lot. She posts quite a lot. The maximalist.
I answer people's questions on
I
that
think
page. Don't bring up the maximalist thing. How dare you?
You're a lot ruder on that one. Too beige. It's too beige. I'm like, all right.
That one made me feel sick. It actually gave me a complex because it made me think of my great auntie's house. We weren't allowed to sit on the couch. You had to sit in the corner on the like straw mat because if you sat on the couch, you would like ruin it. It was the good couch.
Wow.
And that was what that fucking room made me feel like. I felt like I was 5 again, sitting in the corner because I was too dirty to sit on the and I probably was, but still.
For people that don't know, it's an interior design group for maximalists on Facebook, and it got a varying degree of quality in its posts that Amanda will point out to people at times. But the epilepsy group is great. I think it is great, but it just goes to show all of the different side effects.
Did you see my one lately where the person was like, how do you deal with having sex? And I'm like, just pop the joints back in and wait till you're coherent again and
for epilepsy
get on with it. Yeah.
And the epilepsy, no, I didn't see that one.
That might have been the Ehlers-Danlos one. Okay, never mind.
That sounds more like an. Okay, there are so many groups. If people don't like, I'm a member of a thrombocytopenia group. I'm a member of the epilepsy group. I'm a member of the vulvodynia group. There's so many groups that could be good and bad. It might make you obsessed, but it's actually been really. It's been nice, particularly with the epilepsy group. The ones that are quite heartbreaking is the new parents.
Yeah.
The parents with these little kids who suddenly have got epilepsy and they're just bewildered. They have no idea. So I think it is quite nice. And also to be on there as adults who have lived full lives.
And I know my family found it really hard. And I found it really hard to deal with them finding it really hard.
I mean, your mother seeing you do that must have been very traumatic.
Yeah, and her and my sister and my partner, I would say, took it really hard. And obviously they want to protect me and keep me well. But I reacted really strongly and negatively towards the like suffocating care that they wanted to put on me.
My mother, she was like, I feel sorry for her now, but I'd be like, oh, my finger's sore. Have you taken your pills? I'm like, fuck off about my fucking pills. I just got so sick of that. But, and this is what the parents like, I've got a friend who's a diabetic kid and so just gets so sick of being asked about it, but it's actually life or death. Yeah.
After my first two, my mum and my sister were both like, we're coming to get you in the morning, tell your work you're not going to be there for the week, pack your bags, we're committing you to North Shore Hospital. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Good Lord. They're going to commit you.
Because they really felt scared.
That you were just doing your life.
Well, I was following all the advice. I had all the appointments booked. Like I was doing what I needed to, that my GP and the specialist told me. No, fuck no.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I wasn't allowed to drive from the second one.
Yeah.
You were actually from the first. No, it was the first. Yeah. Like I had everything booked and they're like, we're committing you because you need to get this sorted. And I'm like, well, I can't get the EEG for 4 months.
For 4 months?
Yeah. And I'm like, so we just have to wait for that?
Man,
and you committing me is not...
Right.
Back in the day, though.
Yeah,
right?
I was in hospital. I went straight. I was in hospital for like 3 days.
Yeah, no, I had a long wait.
Yeah,
it was a long wait.
I don't know if that helped being in hospital, right? Maybe that gives you things.
Maybe.
Yeah, this was in 1990.
They were very scared by it all. And I get that.
It's scary, but
scary to watch.
You are an adult too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm 42 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not worried about, like, I'm worried about falling down and breaking my face open again or like breaking my teeth or whatever, but them committing me to hospital is not going to change anything or help anything. But I also appreciate that they didn't know what else to do.
I don't think they would have.
So they wanted to like take action.
Yeah.
No.
So then, how long did it take you to get under control with meds? A few months.
Yeah, just a couple of months.
Right. Okay.
Really. Yeah.
I know because you sent me some texts that were very sad with the situation and worried that you wouldn't be able to get back to doing things that you wanted to do, particularly around swimming,
scuba diving, swimming.
Scuba diving you'll never be able to do again.
That's not true.
Oh, that's what they told me. That's good.
I've told my doctor that is my absolute goal. The doctor is hopeful that within 5 years, if I'm seizure-free,
great,
I can get back to it.
Great. Yeah, they told me that I could never scuba dive or be a pilot. And
I can't be a pilot.
As I'd never wanted to do either of those things, I wasn't that bothered. But yeah. But you've come to, because you, I mean, you know, we can cut this out if you don't want to talk about it. But
That's
you
fine.
were texting me from a very dark place of saying, I'm never going to be able to do any of these things again with my life. And I kept trying to tell you that you would, and you just had to get controlled and it would be okay. So now you're feeling more like that.
I'm feeling more positive, especially because I haven't had a seizure since December.
Which is amazing.
And when you first get them, I don't know, for me, it exposed some prejudices that I had against epilepsy or people who had epilepsy. Like I thought it was, I don't know, I thought they had like some sort of weakness or like it was some kind of deficiency in their brain or something. I don't know. I had never considered epilepsy with regards to myself or the person near me having it, you know.
Right.
It was so weird. Like,
it's been a learning experience.
Yeah, it really has. And I don't know where I got that from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like my mother dropped me on my head as a baby, which could very well be the thing that did it. Everyone's like, oh, that explains it. But, you know, and all that sort of stuff. So it often is of a head injury. And, you know, like I can see that COVID would be an injury.
And a lot of people get it in their adulthood after having like febrile seizures as a newborn or whatever.
Some people start having them again at menopause.
Yeah.
Which is a terrifying prospect for me.
And me. Mm. But yeah, it was weird going, oh, okay, I'm one of the people that I think these weird things about for some reason that I don't even know where that all came from.
Right. But now you're more positive.
Here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Like I haven't had a seizure since December. Touch wood. Thank fuck my table is made from wood. And
what are you on now, the dosages?
Levetiracetam /Keppra /Everett, same thing. 1 gram twice a day.
1
like
gram?
1,000 milligrams twice a day.
1,000 milligrams, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
twice
like quite a big dose.
Yeah.
Because I had 3 major seizures and a lot of minor ones in between.
Whereas I'm on 200 milligrams a day of lamotrigine. So it's quite different.
Oh, yeah, the doses are different with those ones too, eh? Lamotrigine, from what I understand, is more active than Keppra.
Right.
Yeah.
Jumps around, does some stuff more.
So you have like lower doses, but it's more active.
Right, okay. Who knows? Right. So now some of the other questions. So what did you want to be when you were growing up?
A marine biologist or a dog carer.
So what happened?
I have ADHD.
When did you figure that out?
Last year when I got diagnosed.
And are you on meds for that too?
No.
You just come at it with behaviour and you know diagnosis is power?
The neuro wasn't sure that it would go well with the dose that I'm on for epilepsy.
This is the other thing that we like.
HRT. Because he's like mostly dealing with epilepsy stuff, so he's not up to date. So it might be possible to get some medication in the future, but I have suspected for many, many, many years that I have ADHD, and I do.
Right. Do you have a degree or anything like that? You've got your, of course you do, teaching degree.
Yeah.
Was that difficult?
So I have a bachelor's degree and a postgrad degree. No, they weren't difficult. They were easier than being at school, being at high school.
Right.
No, I'm quite productive and self-motivated working alone if that's what I'm doing. If I want to put some washing in the machine, I'll go near it and go, oh, it's by the freezer, I better make some ice. And then I'll go in there and go, oh, I need to get some food out to defrost for dinner tonight. Oh, I better go out to the garden and get some lettuce. Oh, I'm going to plant some seedlings. Oh, I better mow the lawn.
Right.
You know, like I do 50 or 60 things and never do the thing I meant to do.
Right. Yeah. And do you think you need meds?
I would like to try them.
Yeah. So think about all the interactions of meds, like HRT and lamotrigine can sometimes interact with each other.
Really?
Yeah. So it's because it's a hormonal sort of thing. Anyway, so that's like if I did think that I wanted HRT, it could be tricky with my meds. But yeah, it's just this never-ending merry-go-round. So what is your favourite body part?
My pussy.
You're the first person to say that. Love it. What's so good about your pussy?
It's
I feel
nice.
It's difficult to just say pussy. I have to go pussy. It's nice.
It's nice.
I feel like I want to know. I want more. Describe. Why?
I like all of it, to be honest. I like all of it. There's
Pussy or the body?
The body and the pussy.
Right.
Hold that thought because I have to piss. Near my pussy.
The pussy's going into action.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 sec.
Now that you've been back from rinsing your pussy.
What, with piss?
Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah.
I don't do that.
This is there's no censoring on this podcast. And now you're moistening your lips.
I am.
But the ones on your
top
face,
ones,
the top lips.
the highest lips.
With some paw ointment.
I, like, as I said before, I have no beef with my body. I have a dicky knee. I have accessory toenails, which are a fucking pain in the ass.
What? Accessory toenails?
Yeah, you get a second toenail on the outside of your little toe.
Oh.
It's weird. Your nail bed splits. It's hereditary. I don't know. It's annoying. I just pull them out with tweezers.
So many things that about people's bodies that
It's gross.
No idea. That sounds very hot.
I have big tits, a fat ass. I don't know, like, no snuff eyes. Like, hazel eyes are cool. My hair is soft. I have good teeth. Like, my mum and my dad's paid for me to get, like, plates that widened and lengthened my jaws instead of getting teeth pulled out and having, like, a teeny, weeny little smile.
Okay.
And so I have, like, nice teeth. I don't know. They're not perfectly straight. I don't give a shit. I have good skin. I have access to sunscreen and skincare products. I don't know. Like,
this is good.
I don't have anything that I hate about my body.
That's good.
Because it works.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Like
a lot of most people do. I mean, like, and where do you think this wondrous amount of self-confidence, like, do you, like, because that's very unusual for someone, like, I've done a lot of these podcasts. Oh, fuck yeah. I've done a lot of these podcasts, and there's very few people that go, there's nothing that bothers me.
What bothers people?
Oh, it all depends. It's all manner of weird shit, like, particularly stomachs and things like that, but, whatever. And it's all often nothing that anybody else cares about, so often. But I think that's very amazing that you don't have anything to say about that.
I think I've fucked around a lot. Like, I've been a massive slut most of my life. I've been with the same person for a long time, and we have good sex and a lot of sex, and he is, like, completely obsessed with me and my body. That's great. I don't even like men. I like him, but I've never had anyone that I've been with have anything mean to say, and perhaps it is something to do with not going out with people who would criticize me like that.
I don't think I
weirdly
have. I don't think I've ever had that. I think, and I've fucked around a lot as well. I think for me it was more about, just getting fat at 16 because of the pills when I was doing everything that I was supposed to do to lose weight and I couldn't lose weight. And it just got stuck into my psyche so fucking deep, and I just can't really get rid of it, which I hate. At least I'm aware of it now.
Yeah, I've sort of found it fascinating to watch in other people because I really think that my ex with 1.5 legs, had something to do with it because he was like, do not complain about your body to me.
Yeah.
And, that's a formative age, I guess, 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
19, 20 or whatever it was.
To be faced with realising that you are lucky.
Yeah. I snowboard, I ski, I go tramping and hiking, I walk my dog for 45 minutes an hour every day. I'm like able and lucky and love gardening and go sea wedding with my mum, and I don't know, there's nothing that gets in my way about my body except for, like, epilepsy and dislocating my joints and stuff.
And that slowing you down must have been very frustrating, but now you're gearing back up again.
Yeah. But also when I say I find it fascinating in other people, I look at them and I think that is not the thing that I would look at you and think about.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's almost every time.
Yeah.
Almost every time. That's the thing. It's like all of our hang-ups and they're just nothing in the face of...
No, people are like, oh, I've got the worst knees. I'm like, no one is thinking about your knees.
I know, exactly. Exactly.
You know?
And then we have friends, facing terminal cancer and stuff, and then just nothing fucking matters.
Yeah.
Nothing fucking matters.
And if you are attracted to someone, you don't give a shit about cellulite, for fuck's sake.
No.
Nobody cares. If you care about cellulite, you're a bad person. And no one should care about you.
There you go.
Like, you are the cellulite of humanity, but worse, because cellulite's fine and you're not.
There you go. So would you say you have a most useful body part? Or all of them again?
I'm very strong.
Right. Do you do weights and things like that?
No, I did kickboxing for 10 years and I have kept up a regime-ish of, like, I have a boxing bag in the garage and I do a bit there when I can be bothered, but I'm not allowed to do normal press-ups or anything with my shoulders.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
But I can do, like, little things. Like, I watch fucking Schitt's Creek for the 5th time and do bench press-ups and stuff. Like, do you want to feel my muscles?
Oh, of course. Always. Yeah. Oh, yes, that is quite. What about mine?
Not bad. Not bad, Penny.
Yeah. I do weights. I did weights today.
Go like that, and you can feel the real, like, yeah, I would
Scrawny
eat that.
bit,
If
yeah.
that was a rabbit, I would eat that bit first.
Right.
You know.
Good. That's
So-
what I always like to think about myself. If I was a various animal,
I
which part
think
of me
about
would
that.
I eat?
I think about that, and it's the bicep and the butt. I would
Right.
eat the butt and the thigh and the bicep
Eat
first.
the butt.
I feel like the calf would be sinewy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you feel you have a least useful body part? Or is it all marvellous as well?
Least useful. The accessory toenails.
Yeah,
They're
there we
literally
go.
called accessory. I
think
got
that's
frostbite once in my big
Oh.
toe, hiking in Japan in the snow, and I spilled some tea on my sleeping bag, like the night before we went right back down the mountain to civilization, and it froze, and I peeled my toe away for like 2 weeks, and it went black and gross and burgundy,
Wow.
and since then it's grown with humps in it, so it's probably not that useful, but
Right.
everything else is pretty useful.
Pretty fucking useful.
I know.
Right. Okay.
Like, I think it's a pragmatic thing. I don't see the point in, like, hating part of your body.
Well,
like, it's
you
your
know-
one short life, right?
Yeah, but there are a lot of people that do. So
What do people
well,
hate? I'm
as I
so
say, all
curious.
like ears.
Ears. They have
yeah.
their ears.
Yeah, neck.
These things.
Yeah.
This thing.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. But but then that's their shit.
Yeah.
So
Who
yeah.
told them that?
Well,
that's what I want to know.
Yeah, there's probably that. Absolutely. And it's just this is the thing about doing this podcast. I've discovered that everyone's fucked up in some way or another. And I found it actually quite refreshing, to be honest. And they're just the great leveler and how everybody's very happy to talk about it. And we just need to get fucking rid of it, like just throw away all the shame and all the bullshit and the judgment that's bound up in these bone bags and just see them for the miraculous thing that they are. I was on the panel on Friday and apparently Simon Pound, who's another panelist, was on the day before saying that this is the best time to be alive. And all of these people, 65% of people broke and said it's not true, it's a terrible time. And yes, climate change is definitely a thing that is hanging over all of us, but it's just like that constant doom sort of mentality and stuff. Like, I'm finding it quite hard, and I've been so fucked up with humanity through COVID for all the stupid anti-science. Like, science is the thing that's going to save us, and people are so anti-science, and it's just infuriating. But the fact is that we are human beings' capacity for so much joy and happiness and usefulness, and then also so much shit pile of Putin behaviours and all this sort of stuff. I don't know what I'm fucking trying to say now, but anyway.
I follow a lot of good news channels on TikTok where they post like time lapses of them cleaning out like the most polluted stream in Bali, whatever, you know, and cleaning up a beach, and it's a time lapse that took them like 17 hours, and they post it in like 30 seconds, and you're just like, holy fuck. What the shit can we do when we put our minds to it?
That's exactly right. I thought about doing a good
there's
news
so
podcast.
much good
actually.
stuff.
Goody news shows.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
I like that.
And that's exactly right. The capacity for genius that human beings have, and when you just think about engineering and the fact that we are talking to each other in this room and now somebody's walking their dog down the street, listening to us talking to each other in their ears, that's shit that I can't figure out. Like this, the amazing things that we can do, but yet some of us waste it. There's like 500,000 people dead now in the Ukraine war, and you just go, what the fuck was that for? Anyway, we're going to talk about something much more pleasant than that to end on. Do you know about menopause at all?
Only in that some of my cousins are currently going through it, older and younger than me, and they wake up in the night with their entire head soaked, and it's like 5 degrees outside, and they're like boiling hot,
Right.
and sweating, and just like, ugh, and they throw the blankets off, and then they're like, I'm freezing. They put them back up, and then they, like, one of my cousins got a plastic sheet,
Wow.
yeah, to
Right.
put under her normal sheet because
So
she was like, I'm ruining my mattress.
But your grandmother had a child at 53.
Yeah.
Wowzers. So
Yeah.
you might be, but then she didn't have a period for 10 years before that.
No, she'd gone through menopause, and she, from what I understand, I could be wrong because I was a kid when this was all relayed to me, but my grandma went to the doctor and was like, so I have this mass in my stomach, and I'm pretty sure I have like a big stomach cancer. And the doctor was like, ma'am, you're pregnant. And she's like, no, I'm not. I've already got grandchildren.
That must have been.
Yeah, and so my auntie,
What was that?
that's my take your epilepsy medication alarm.
Oh, right.
And so my auntie was born younger than her nieces.
Wow.
Mm.
Cool.
So she was like 5 and they're like 19.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a fun fact about your grandmother. What's your fun fact that you have about yourself?
I love gardening. I don't know. I don't have any fun facts about me. I'm not that fun. I'm not that funny.
You're a comedian.
I work in construction.
Working construction. Right.
I did once go to the A&E with a burst ovarian cyst, and I had a line of medical students like out the door of my room waiting to give me a pelvic exam.
Ew.
And I eventually, after the first like 5 or 6, I was like, so that's probably enough. And they're like, you can't let half of them have a go and half of them not. And I'm like, no, I can,
Yeah.
because it's my pussy,
Yeah. My excellent pussy.
my excellent fucking pussy, my magical pussy,
Yeah.
that they're putting their fingers in and being like, oh, that's so cool. So that's what it feels like. Like, no. Like, and they didn't ask me.
Yeah, well, when I was in for epilepsy, the doctor just came in when I was 16 and just pulled my top up
Why?
to like listen to my chest with some medical students there as well. Far out.
Anyway.
Yeah, that sort of shit's very infuriating. Anything else that you might want to talk about around epilepsy, around bodies, around issues?
I feel like not enough people know enough about epilepsy. Like, I met a guy recently who'd seen someone have a seizure, and he was like, oh yeah, it was so hard. I had to like get someone to go and get a spoon and put it in their mouth and just make sure they weren't swallowing their tongue. And I'm like,
Don't do that.
it's a great way to break someone's teeth and choke them to death.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, don't do
Cool
that.
fun.
Don't do that. I mean, that was what that was the perceived thing, is to stop people swallowing their tongues.
But
That's what they used to, they used to try and put like wood in there and stuff.
How do people not know in 2023 that it's impossible to swallow your tongue?
And also, I think quite a few people have lost fingers in attempts to do that.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll learn their fucking lesson.
So have empathy for everyone is what you're saying.
yeah. Except them.
Yeah, except those guys. They don't have a magical pussy.
Exactly.
So, all right, well, thank you very much to you and your magical pussy for having me in your house. And have a lovely evening with your dog.
Thank you. You too. Thank you for coming to see my pussy.
I didn't realise that was on the menu. So is that up?
That's up next.
Okay, bye.
Bye.